Hello, today we're going to be looking at this Yamaha portable keyboard, Yamaha PortaSound, which has no sound. Switched on, volume's all the way up, nothing. However, when you plug it into an external speaker, now flipping it over, first thing we're going to do is remove the screws on the bottom and open it up and see if there's anything obvious which could be wrong with it. There we go, we now have it open. See, it's very nice in here. It's not like modern circuit boards. Got a massive battery compartment down here, which actually isn't too bad. I was expecting a lot of corrosion on it, but it looks to be alright actually. There's a scratch there. That might potentially be causing part of the issue. It goes right along that trace there. I think that might be attached to something and I need to unscrew the rest of the board to remove this. Well, initial inspections of the underside of the board seem to be alright, other than that scratch over there. I think the two main areas we need to look at is this side with the headphones, and over here as the speakers over here. Okay, so I've removed the screws from all of these holes here, and the board is starting to lift up, as you can see here. All the buttons here for changing the different sounds on the keyboard. Sort of just wiggling it around and it's slowly coming out. Look at this board, isn't that beautiful? Okay, so speaker is here. It's got these yellow wires and they actually don't seem to go to this part of the board. It actually just goes, follow this yellow wire all the way around to this board over here. So looking at this board, nothing really sticks out to me at first. Capacitors don't look blown. Transistor looks alright. There's a resistor down there, but that looks alright. Here it says power amp, and it looks as though it's separated by this white line which goes down it, so it must be this little top section of the board. It looks alright. I'm going to move some of these capacitors just a little so you can see. Those resistors look fine. There is actually some bigger capacitors under here. I think that black is just pen. Doesn't look like they've leaked or exploded or anything. There are some little dots on the top of these ones, which aren't on top of any of the other little ones. So it looks like the cables for the battery go straight into this, which is also where you plug the power in over here. And then from there, it looks like they go through to the power switch underneath, and then along this red and white wire somewhere else. But then these black wires, there's I think there's 3 of them, but they're quite long. They both go from this board onto this top section of the board, which is labelled power amp. Now I've done a quick visual inspection of the board, there's probably something I've missed. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get the multimeter out, measure the resistance of these resistors here and some of the other ones down here, so that's the simplest place to start, I think. This is really hard to do whilst recording, but as you can see it says 470k, and on the multimeter over here it says 0.4754-ish mega ohms, so that sounds about right. Next I'll check this one. There you go, 100 ohms. There's a sneaky 1 kilo ohm resistor down there. Pretty much bang on 1 kilo ohm, which is good, but also bad because now we don't know what's wrong. I actually want to test the resistance of the speaker. That might be causing it. It says it is 3.2 ohms there. 3.2 ohms. So let's measure that. Oh, that's very strange. Why is the resistance of the speaker so high? That's mega ohms. Why is the speaker's resistance so high? Maybe it's the speaker which is gone. Disconnected it, and we're going to measure it again. I don't know, maybe it being in circuit was affecting it. Now it just says open line. We found the issue, it's the speaker. I'm going to try connecting a spare speaker up to these two leads and seeing if we get sound out of it, because it might actually be the speaker which is broken. So here I have just an old TV speaker which I took out of an old TV. It says it is 8 ohms. It's got more resistance than the original one, which means that it should be alright to put in the circuit. If it had less resistance than the original one, then it could damage the circuit. We've got two ends here, so I'm just going to wrap them around the ends of the connectors here. Thought I'd first show you the difference. So this is my TV speaker, and if we put the leads across it, we get about 7 ohms. But then when we go over to the one in here, and yet the multimeter says it's an open line. It's the same as just having the leads apart. Okay, so the speaker is now connected, and I'm going to apply power. If we switch it on, oh my gosh, it's working. Oh, I don't know why it does that when I push it down, but when I press a key underneath here, it's coming out. So we found the issue. It's this speaker which is broken. So now we know what the issue is. We can access the speaker with everything else put back together. So before I forget how to put it all back together or lose some of the screws, I'm going to put it back together, and then I'm going to see if I can put a different speaker in here. There we go, I've just put all 5 screws back in. I did accidentally remove this one even though I wasn't meant to. It's fine. If we look on the other side, just double check. Buttons seem to still work. It's nicely aligned, so that's good. Now what I'm going to do is remove this speaker with the 2 screws here and have a look at it. That's what it looks like underneath the speaker. There's like a little mesh, and you can see there that's just the speaker grill. Very interesting shaped speaker. It looks basically brand new, so it's surprising it doesn't work. What I'm going to try before we try putting a different speaker in it is just putting some fresh solder on these two joints here and seeing if that will potentially fix it. Okay, there we go. You can see it's got a bit of extra solder on it now, but the wires still look connected. Let's test resistance and see if it made a difference. Still get nothing on the multimeter, so I think this speaker's just had it, to be honest. So, speaker I was just using a second ago for testing it. It's way too big to fit. It's like almost twice the size of the original one, so that's not going to work. I don't have particularly many options, as the ones I've got left are mostly destroyed, but I do have these, and I think these are perfect because they're 4 ohms, 3 watts. They fit quite nicely where the old speaker used to be. So I might just put one in because 2 doesn't fit. It lines up here with the screw hole, so I might be able to screw it down. I can just wire something up to connect these together. First of all, I'm just going to remove this wire from the speaker. There you go. Need to tidy that up a little bit. Just pulled that off. Got a bit of wire here. I'm just going to cut it. We don't need very much. Stripping the ends off it so we can solder it up. There we go. Doesn't really matter, but it does say positive and negative on there. It's not showing on camera. This is negative and this is positive. And I'm going to match it up with the colours. There's one soldered on, now I'll do the other. There we go, that'll do. Twist them up, it makes it easier just to connect it to things and it doesn't all like split and get like really loose ends on the wires. Over here back at the keyboard, I'm going to pop the speaker in and I'm going to screw it down first. So I'll screw it down first and then I'll just wrap these wires around these ones to test to make sure it works before we do a more permanent connection. So there we go, that's in. It's only one screw holding it in, but hopefully it should be fine. Now I'm going to match the white coloured wire up with the wire which has this long dashed line on it here. So there you go, you can see white to the one also with the line, and then one without the line to the one also without the line. Now let's flip it over, plug it in and see what happens. Here we go, we're plugged in. I'm going to switch it on. Oh. Nothing. Oh. Okay, well we have sound now. That's interesting. This works. Something's holding the keys, must be constantly pressing a key. Right, first of all, I'm just going to solder these together because clearly the speaker works. And then I think we might have to unscrew this again because something's trapped underneath the keys is what I think. Right, well that didn't work. I think what I'm actually going to do, as I don't think I can solder to this type of metal. I'm going to just wrap it in some electrical tape, which should hopefully hold it together. Okay, so now we've got the speaker working. We somehow managed to get another issue, which is quite a bit more severe, where half the keys don't work. I'm going to take this back off because I don't think I've put it on properly, as it's very loose. I can just like move it around, which when it was on before I removed it, you could barely lift it up. It's actually a bit stuck. I can't seem to get the buttons out. I think I found the issue. Yeah, whoops. I just haven't unscrewed it fully. Now we've got the bottom off, let's see if the issue is still here. Okay, so the keys work again now. So for some reason when I put it back down, it broke all the keys. Very strange. Okay, now I believe it's all lined up, as all the little pillars are in the right holes, and it still works. So now I'm going to see what happens when I screw those in. There we go, all the screws are back in. I even put the second screw from the old speaker back in here, so I don't lose it. Right, here we go. It's plugged in, I'm going to switch it on, and it makes sound. There we go, it works. The speaker's probably not as loud as it used to be, but it works. Now I just need to put the bottom back on it. Here's the back. I've kept all the screws in the holes, so they should just all line up. There we go, the screws are back in, and just got to pop the battery cover over. What? Oh. I thought it didn't work for a second then, I just hadn't selected one of these. There we go. Thank you so much for watching. Finally got it working. It's a nice little fix. Goodbye.